Disheartening Quebec immigration crisis rocks Parliament. Liberals crumble under fact-check storm. Canada is currently embroiled in one of its most intense immigration debates in recent memory, and Quebec has emerged as the flashpoint. The federal government's introduction of Bill C-3 has sparked widespread controversy, especially in Quebec, where political leaders have made it clear they are fed up with what they describe as Ottawa's careless and out-of-touch policies. With Mark Carney now leading the Liberals as Prime Minister, tensions have escalated sharply, and opposition figures like Pierre Poilievre are seizing the opportunity to critique the government's handling of immigration and citizenship. Bill C-3 aims to eliminate the first-generation limit on citizenship by descent, a rule established in 2009 that prevents third-generation children born abroad from automatically inheriting Canadian citizenship. The rationale behind this rule was to ensure citizenship remained linked to meaningful connections to Canada, preventing citizenship from being passed indefinitely without ties to the country. However, Bill C-3 seeks to abolish this safeguard, allowing citizenship to be handed down through unlimited generations regardless of where descendants live or whether they have any real connection to Canada beyond ancestry. The timing of this bill has sparked questions and concerns nationwide. Canada is already facing numerous challenges: an overstretched healthcare system, an acute housing crisis, and a soaring cost of living that makes daily life difficult for many families. Against this backdrop, critics are questioning why the Liberals are pushing a bill that could exacerbate these problems by increasing the number of citizens without addressing integration or resource capacity. Quebec's response has been particularly emphatic. Jean Boulet, Quebec's Minister of Immigration, has warned Ottawa that if federal immigration targets are not lowered, the province may be forced to cut services to non-permanent residents. Quebec spent over $500 million supporting asylum seekers last year, and its government insists that such expenditures are becoming unsustainable. Boulet has even outlined scenarios where Quebec would dramatically reduce immigration targets from the current 66,500 to as low as 25,000, with a stronger emphasis on regional integration and protecting the French language. This pushback reflects a growing rift between Quebec and the federal government over immigration policy and cultural identity. The province has recently rejected federal multiculturalism policies in favor of asserting its own vision of integration, emphasizing the need to preserve Quebec's unique cultural and linguistic heritage. This stance sends a strong message to Ottawa. Quebec demands greater autonomy and respect in immigration matters, and it is willing to take drastic steps if ignored. Parliament became the stage for a dramatic clash when Conservative MP Michelle Rempel-Garner challenged the Liberals over their immigration policies. She pointed to a staggering number: over 516,000 foreign study permits issued last year, roughly equivalent to the entire population of Halifax, despite Canada's housing and employment crises. When pressed, the Liberal Minister of Immigration dismissed these numbers as misinformation, only to be caught off guard when Rempel cited the government's own data. This incident laid bare the growing frustration among Canadians and parliamentarians with what they perceive as evasiveness and lack of accountability from the Liberal government. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre has used this controversy to underscore his message of responsible immigration policy. He accuses Prime Minister Mark Carney and his Liberals of ignoring the on-the-ground realities faced by provinces and citizens, instead pursuing policies that inflate citizenship numbers without ensuring proper integration or infrastructure support. Poilievre argues that such recklessness risks long-term social and economic problems, which future governments will struggle to fix. At the heart of this debate lies a fundamental challenge. How can Canada balance its proud tradition of welcoming immigrants with the practical need to ensure public services, infrastructure, and communities can keep pace? Bill C-3 seems to tilt the scale toward expanding citizenship rights without adequately considering the capacity to support new Canadians or their descendants. Critics warn that once these rights are extended, future governments will find it politically and legally difficult to reverse course or manage immigration effectively. Quebec's firm opposition exemplifies a larger fracture within Canada's federation. The province's rejection of federal multiculturalism in favor of its own integration approach signals potential for greater discord on immigration policy and national unity. As other provinces watch closely, Ottawa risks alienating key regional partners, threatening the cohesiveness needed to manage immigration effectively on a national scale. Public opinion across Canada reflects these tensions. While many Canadians support immigration, growing numbers express concern about the speed and scale of population growth and its impact on housing, healthcare, and employment. The debate has evolved beyond abstract ideals to focus on tangible impacts in people's lives, increasing pressure on politicians to respond with practical solutions. Mark Carney faces an uphill battle in steering his government through these turbulent waters. Managing competing interests, from provincial demands and public anxieties to political opposition, requires clear policies, transparency, and meaningful dialogue. Vague promises and political spin will no longer suffice if the Liberals want to maintain public trust and avoid further damage to their standing. Pierre Poilievre's vocal criticism and promises to recalibrate immigration policy resonate with a significant portion of the electorate concerned about the government's direction. His calls for cooperation with provinces, realistic immigration targets, and a focus on integration reflect a growing political fault line that could shape the next federal election. In sum, the turmoil surrounding Bill C-3 and Quebec's resistance shines a harsh light on Canada's immigration policy challenges. The federal government's approach, under Mark Carney's leadership, has sparked division and exposed shortcomings in governance and accountability. The coming months will be critical as Parliament debates this issue and Canadians watch closely. The choices made now will influence the country's social fabric and political landscape for years to come. If the Liberals continue down this path without adjusting course, they risk deepening regional divides and sowing distrust among Canadians. The immigration crisis rocking Parliament is far from resolved, and the stakes could not be higher for the government, for Quebec, and for the future of Canada itself.